Hello everyone, today we continue build our online store application, and now I'm going to add some logic for my project to return back products, to return product by ID, and to finish user purchase. And firstly, I create new package service, and then I create package controller. And as you guys guessed, I add product controller to my controller. Product controller will be responsible for products. In my get all products, I just return list of products from the database. In the next tutorials, we create pagination to avoid returning all products. But to simplify this video, we just return all products. And then I navigate to service and create my product service. And in my product service, I just created two methods, find all and find by ID. Create product and update product I'll create in the scope of admin page functionality, which is out of the scope of this video. I decided to make my videos shorter, so I just split some functionality into a short part of videos in order you guys can easily watch and implement all the changes. And my product service requires product repository. I prefer inject dependencies through the constructor, and I'm gonna use Lombok library call args constructor, and I'm gonna call my product repository as private final. And then my Lombok library create default constructor, and my product repository will be in this constructor. I just call find all from GPI repository, and let me navigate to product entity repository. It looks like we did some mistake. Yeah, we put order entity instead of product entity. That's okay. Sometimes it happens. And then I just return product entity find by ID. And let's say if I haven't found any product, I need to throw some exception, and let's write some custom exception. But first to create a package for it. And let's say our exception will just override exception message. And as you remember, guys, find by ID returns optional, which is very convenient. We can just use all else throw and just throw an exception. And I just use sneaky throws from my lombok. And then I don't need to mark my method as throws exception. And then I navigate back to my product controller. And call my methods. But firstly, I auto-wire my product service. I'm gonna log incoming requests in order to enable easy debug in future. And my next method is just get product by ID. And this method I'm also gonna log. And for now, that's it with products. To test it, we just create our products all by hand. And next is purchase controller. And what I'm gonna do in this controller is just to create a request for finish user purchase. And it's gonna be post request with body. And I made a mistake with this naming. Let me just refactor it, and then I create method. And I need some incoming params for my finished purchase. I create new package and call it DTO. And I create new class finish purchase request. And in my finish purchase request, I'm gonna grab all the fields which I need for finish purchase. and let's say our user selects one product and decides to buy two of them, and then our user selects another product and decides to buy 3 products of this type. And I think we need a map which will store product count and product ID. And we also need information about buyer, because we need to call back for our client or send him some email, for example, etc. We just need to navigate to our user entity and see which fields we're gonna take from our request. Its name, surname, email, all those fields are required for our finished purchase. And let's make it private. And that's it. And we also gonna store some comment for our purchase. And let's try to validate all those fields, guys, because we need some of these fields as mandatory. For example, we need product ID and product count map as mandatory, a username at least. We need phone number and let's say email as mandatory, and it will be good to have address to know which address should we send our product for user. We can use JAWAX validation to validate all these fields in incoming request, and I did some research. And if you use version up to 2.3, Spring Boot, guys, just refactored from the previous versions and removed JAWAX validation from Spring Boot Starter. So you need to add validation manually. I just made some preparations, and I have found that we need dependency Spring Boot Starter validation to enable JAWAX validation. Just let me add. But if you use, for example, Java Spring Boot version 2.2, you don't need any dependencies at all. And with dependency, we just enable JAWAX validation. And if we just navigate to our finished purchase request, we can mark some fields as not null. Make sure you select JAWAX validation constraints. Let's say our username is not null also, but we can select not null but not empty. For string, it's better to choose not empty, because we don't need our field to be empty. And if you navigate, you just see annotation description. And next field is just email. And that's it. That's how we validated our incoming request. And then in our purchase controller, we just add validated from JavaX validation and add request body and finish purchase request. And let's log incoming request. And then we just return response entity with empty body. For now, we just return it with empty body, but maybe later we return user number of order. And then let's create our purchase service. And purchase service implementation. And then we need to finish our purchase. We just make only one method, which will return number of order and finish. And let's try to implement our finished purchase. Okay, guys. And before I prepared this video, I noticed that I did some mistake in my entity mapping. Yeah, that's a bad mistake, but I'm gonna check it now and I'm gonna improve it now. If you navigate to order entity, you see that order has purchase item, and you see that let me check. Purchase item entity has product entity. So our purchase item entity just stores product ID and count of products, and we need in our order to store all the purchase item entities. So if we use this schema, we just store only one purchase item entity, which is wrong. So let's just remove those purchase item ID from the order table and then add order ID in my purchase item entity. So firstly, I need to change my schema first, my database schema. Fortunately, I use Flyway database migration, so it's easy to change my schema. I just create new file and I call it v2 _ and change purchase item order mapping. And then I just navigate to my database. Let me refresh. I just need to get my purchase item table and add order ID from my order table and I need to modify my table and add order ID, and then I add foreign key to my order table, and I say that my order ID references to order table. I'm not gonna execute this because I allow Flyway to execute it instead of me, and then I need to delete purchase item from the order table. I'm just gonna drop it. And again, I just copy paste it to my Flyway. I restart my project and see if it restores my tables. Yeah, looks fine. Yeah, all good. Now we are ready to refactor our entities. Let's just navigate to purchase item and add purchase item entity. Will have product order ID. And let's get rid of those warnings. Just assign our data source, and yeah. And next I navigate to my product entity, not product, sorry, order entity, and delete purchase item ID. And that's it. Now we are ready to now we are ready to finish our finished purchases. Yeah. And firstly, in our finished purchase request, we just need to look through the map, check our products, find product by ID in database, and store purchase item in the database first. So I just get request, get product ID count, just use for each, and then I say that my product service find me product by ID, and my ID is stored in key. And let's say if my product entity is found in database, I just need to create purchase item, let me I create purchase item, and then I set order entity, not order product, sorry, set product entity as my product, and then looks good. And then I set count as my v because I store count in value, and then I just set order entity, and I don't have order entity yet, so let's create it. Order entity, new order, and then set user entity, and I don't have a user entity yet. That's bad, but I'm gonna fix it. And comment request get comment. And what I'm gonna do is just create user entity, but firstly I need to create user service. Oh god, what a mess. User service, and then implementation. Yeah, that will be a long video. And sorry. And then I need my user repository. And let's say if my user makes an order firstly in my online store, I need to create it. But what if my user is not what if it's not the first purchase for my user? So it looks like I store the information for my user. Let's say I will find user by email, and if email is already exist, I just return my user. So I'm gonna create my service, and I call my method create, let's say find or create user. And my find or create user will just accept name, surname, phone, email, all the user information. And what else? Email, surname, address, phone. Let's check. Name, surname, email, address, phone. Yeah, looks like that is. And I navigate to my user service and create implementation. I navigate to my user entity repository and create method. And let's just return optional. No, let's return user entity. And I just let's make sure we use this not null from objects. If my user is not null, I return it. Else I create new user. I just set role, and let's create some role enum for my user. We have two roles, customer and manager. And we expect that all our users, all our ordinary users will have role customer. And let's just import. And that's it. Just save our user in the database. And don't forget to return it. Now we have our find or create user. And let's get back to our, let's close all first and get to our purchase service implementation and inject our user service. And then I just grab my user. Got a lot of fields: name, request, get name, gets a name, phone, and let's make sure we pass our fields correct: name, surname, phone, email, and address. Name, surname, phone, email, and address. Yeah, correct. And after we set user for our order entity, we just let's make some logs. Let's add some logs in case anything fails. We just will be able to trace easily trace failed point. And we need order entity repository. Yeah, and my variable should be final or expectedly final. So I'm gonna switch from for each to just simply for each loop. And after I saved order, I need to return my order ID. Looks good. Yeah, guys. Let's try to test it. Let's navigate to our purchase controller and call it. And let's say we want to return our finished purchase response. And our finished purchase response will store order ID. And that's it. We just finished with our cart functionality and with our product functionality. To test it, we need to comment Spring Starter Security, because Spring Starter Security enables security by default, and all our URLs will be secured if we use Spring Starter Security. In the next videos, guys, we add some security features for our online store, and then we uncomment our Spring Starter Security. Let's just restart our project and add some products for our product table. Let's say I add one product. I add some more products for our database to make sure we return list. And this is the last one. And let's navigate to our Postman and create some request. And here we have our products from the product controller. We also have a product by ID. Let's select second product, for example, here, and we have our second product. And let's try to finish our purchase. And firstly, let's make sure our validation works fine. And first field we're gonna create is, let me recall all the fields: product ID, product count, its map. Product ID, product count. Let's say we store, for example, sorry, lost my endpoints. And let's say we want to buy product with ID 3. We want, for example, buy 2 devices, and then we want to buy one device with ID 1. So we need to store just ID 1 and count 1, and ID 3 and count 2. And that's it for our product map. And this means that we want to buy Samsung S10 and iPhone X. iPhone is one in one count and Samsung in 2 counts. And then let's just create a username, a user's name, and let's try to create empty email. And phone and address. And let's try to save to finish purchase with empty email. And we see method not allowed because we use get method instead of post. And we see bad request exception because we haven't provided email for our unfinished purchase. Let's try to provide some email. And try once again. And yeah, we see our order ID. Looks like everything stored successfully. Handling, we see all our logs. And let's try to check if everything is okay. We navigate to order table and see one order. We haven't provided any comment for our order, so comment is null. User created successfully. And purchase item table is not stored, which is weird. Order table, let's check why purchase item table is not stored. No, nothing stored in my purchase item table. Yeah, because I have forgot to save. Sorry for this. That's why, guys, it's so important to write tests for your functionality. Please refer to my previous videos for JUnit Mockito tests, where I showed in detail how to cover all your functionality from controllers to repositories with testing. And let's restart our application and try to create one more order and see what happened this time. Let's provide some comment. And try once again. We have order with ID 2, and then firstly we make sure, we created our purchase. That means that this purchases refers to order 2. We have order 2 with comment, and we still have user 1 because our user buy products not for the first time in our online store, so it's his second buy. It's still Jon Snow, and that's how later we can just grab all products which our user wants to buy and contact with him and send him his order. That's it for today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I prepared some more interesting videos for you, and goodbye.